Are you ready to mock?
Welcome to Mock of Love,
A weekly podcast providing commentary on VH1's golden age of celebrity reality dating shows. I'm Andy.
and I'm Ashley. Andy, will we be doing any research on these shows?
Almost none.
Will it be kid-friendly?
Fuck no.
Will it be bitchy and hilarious?
Absolutely.
Step into our playhouse and mock our world.
This is Mock of Love.
Babe, do you know what tomorrow is?
What is tomorrow?
It's a very important day for so many of this country's real patriots.
Oh, God.
It's
Don't-
a really...
Don't take me back.
Please, I have got an oath to keep. I'm a tough and proud boy. Boy, these stairs are steep. Hey, police, try and stop my breach. I've got cool ideas for our cool country. Please, let me be your tiny penis militia man.
I like the ending.
You were worried that I was like bought in.
No. No, I was not worried about that.
Hi, thank you for...
I'm sorry, I can't reach that. My chair is really far back and he's trying to put his guitar up.
Yeah, it's tricky. Oh, you are a little bit far from your mic, actually.
Oh, I am?
A little bit.
I'm like
Okay, cool. That
right here.
let me crank you up a bit.
Okay.
Meantime, what are we doing?
We are talking about season 2, episode 4 of Rock of Love. It's
That's
called
right.
A Ride on the Wild Side.
Oh man, this episode, it was not as funny as last episode, that's for certain.
No, it really wasn't. I mean, there was a lot going on,
But then again, there always is.
but not as silly and fun, and we're also not drunk this time.
So the giggles might be down a little bit. You're welcome in advance for that. We were a little silly last episode. We gave it a listen. And we're recording this on January 5th, full week in advance to get this. Make sure that you get the content you so desire.
That's right.
In a timely manner.
That's right.
There's so many obligations that we have. So should I get this? I do have one thing that I want to add about last episode. A couple things. Do you have anything from last episode?
I can't remember.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good.
Cool.
Just checking in.
Thanks.
I put your seat way over there. I apologize.
I know. I'm all the way across the room. That's why when you were trying to put your guitar up, I was like, nope.
Nope. You put my seat here.
Yeah.
So last episode, there was a big brouhaha about Christy Joe talking shit about the other team, supposedly.
Yeah.
And we were like,
what even is this fight?
Yeah, it didn't seem to amount to anything. And so what I noticed when I was going back and pulling clips from the episode was Christy Joe did put words in the other teammates' mouths about Catherine that they never said.
They didn't say anything.
And she wasn't like hostile about it. She was just like, yeah, they thought you could do a little better with your stroller.
She was
Nobody
poking.
ever said that as far as we could tell from the tape.
She was poking.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the other team used that as an opportunity to come at her.
Yes. Okay.
Second thing.
Mm-hmm.
I know this is burning a hole through everybody's head that is curious. They all you guys have been asking us about all week is, where's that ooey peemy Bombi from? Where's ooey pee from? Because it wasn't diarrhea me Stacy.
It wasn't?
It was. I know.
I really thought that might be the name of the doll.
The focus groups were like, it's called Secret Talk Betsy.
And she pees and poops?
And she pees and poops and tells you about it in her secret talk.
Oh.
She has a secret language that she only speaks to you, Bombi.
That's freaking weird.
It's freaking weird. And aren't you so glad that I found that?
Yes.
I will pop in a little clip of Secret Talk Betsy here.
Baby talk, repeat, mommy, repeat. Tell mommy what you mean in secret talk. Press or break. I'm getting hungry. More baby talk.
Okay.
Oh my God.
And now on with the show.
Yes.
So what's this episode called, babe?
I already said what it's called.
Oh, A Ride on the Wild Side.
Yes.
And why is that?
So when it gets to the challenge part, it's all about motorcycles. So
Something that you and I are very passionate about.
yeah, you could tell from the enthusiasm in my voice when I describe the challenge.
Do you feel like this episode was boring?
There was a lot of drama. So, yeah. So not boring. That's not the word I would give it. Just not silly and fun.
Yeah,
like the
no,
last
definitely not
episode.
silly and not fun.
Yeah.
It was tense.
Yeah.
I put in my notes like the overall vibe. It kind of starts tense and stays tense, and it's way more tense than funny. That's for sure.
Yeah. It starts out with Brett and the girls like drinking, and Brett cheers all of them, and he says, "Let's get down to making bacon."
Yeah, he's
I was
clearly
like,
tipsy.
What? Yeah.
His blood sugar
It's like,
is.
what kind of cheers is that? Like, you're making money on the show? Is that? Let's get down to
Yeah,
making
he's like,
bacon.
all right, the cameras are rolling again. Time to make my money.
Yeah. Anyway.
One thing about like the way the women drink this season, it's so tame. It's so controlled.
It's so tame.
It seems there's portion control.
Yeah.
This year.
Yeah. The first season, they were like pouring straight
own
vodka
They had
down
unlimited
each other's
batches.
throats.
Yeah. And I mean, aside from the first night when Courtney got kicked out, I'm wondering if Courtney getting kicked out and Tiffany getting kicked out last season on the
Right.
night one sent the producers a message saying like, hey, we're attracting the wrong people with this unlimited
we need to
alcohol.
be careful about the booze situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because now when they drink, it's like very normal moderation.
We mentioned this in another episode, like nobody's puking this season. Remember how
Yeah.
many people threw up last
Oh,
season?
man.
Like constantly.
It was so good for
Yeah.
that reason.
Yeah.
At the same time, I get it. You don't want to have people ruin their lives if they are already ruining them with alcohol. You don't want to make them do it further
Yeah.
and get their names tarnished.
Yeah.
Oh, so they're drinking.
Yes. And then Brett decides he's going to go to bed. And first of all, he like goes to kiss each and every girl goodnight.
Except.
He sidesteps Aubrey.
Ooh, ouch.
Yeah. She gets real offended by that. Someone later calls her insecure for being offended about this. And I'm like, I don't know if that's insecurity as much as like,
Stating the obvious.
yeah, like there's 15 other girls here. He's just ignoring me.
He
So
did
like,
not
what am I
kiss
even
me.
doing here?
What if she was right next to Brett too? So like it was easy for him to kiss her if he wanted to.
Right.
And I'm wondering like, was he next to her? And so he's like, the breath is stanky,
Or something.
you know?
They're
Was the breath
saying
stanky?
she's clearly like not one of his favorites. And we all know who his favorites are.
Yeah,
Like he makes
because-
that really clear.
And so who does
Yeah.
he take back to his room?
So
or
Daisy-
follows him rather back to his
Yeah,
room.
Daisy wants to walk him to his room. And so she does, and all the girls are like obviously getting really jealous and like, well, what are you doing?
You better be in your bed.
Yeah.
Moments later, after you go in there, you better get back into your bed.
No, and she ends up staying there all night.
Yep.
Yeah.
And well, at this point, like I said, there's conflicting messages about
Yeah,
Daisy
did
and
you do
Brett's
further
sexual
research
proclivity.
about
I
this?
meant to,
Oh, okay.
but then I all of a sudden got us put on this shorter timeline to get this episode wrapped up.
Yeah.
So I haven't. It's still mixed messages.
I know.
It's Daisy on the reunion show saying
like
we had sex 500 times.
100 times. Yeah.
Versus her on a later podcast in life saying that they only had sex once or something.
Yeah.
Or not at all.
Or not at all.
Yeah. So it's very confused.
I am like learning. And, you know, our friend Aaron, shout out Aaron, Marlowe, he warned us about this. Like these shows are highly produced.
Yeah.
So like when I was doing
And scripted even.
Where Are They Now for this episode, which I won't spoil like who it was, but it was, you know, one of the cast members, and she went on a podcast later and she was talking about like some behind the scenes stuff. So this is a set house.
Oh.
They're not even staying in this house. They're
Oh.
staying in hotels.
What?
Yeah.
And so then they get into the bed and act like they just woke up?
It's confusing because she also said that they're like mic'd up 24 hours a day.
Huh.
See, my research sucks. I get these like conflicting things, but yeah, she was saying like they were mic'd up even when they slept. And so like
That's what
she was like afraid she would fart in her sleep and it would get caught on. And she said like
girl, you and me both.
if she covered her head while she was sleeping, then she would pull back the covers and like camera lights would be in her face.
What?
Yeah.
But they never show them in a hotel room. They don't want them to seem like they're in hotel rooms. They want them to seem like they're in the house.
Don't kill me if I'm wrong about that. I swear to God, that's what she said.
I believe you.
It's a set, or maybe they're staying at hotel rooms like early on before filming or like, but she seemed to say that it was a set house.
Yeah.
The guy asked, is it a real house or a set house? She said it's a set house.
Interesting.
Huh.
So so give you an idea that we are dealing with real people doing real things, and it's all very real.
Which
but,
like, you know, in the first season, they show a lot of the girls in their room and their bags, and like they don't really show that in this season.
Yeah. I guess that's true.
Come to think of it.
But didn't we see Christy Jo start packing? Or no, we didn't. We never saw her start packing. We just saw her kind of upset and crying.
No. So
she never started packing.
Listeners, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong. I do really quick and haphazard research. So
well, one thing that's going on, so Daisy is in that room, and so Aubrey and her best friend Christy Jo go to the hot tub to have a conversation about it.
Yeah.
And obviously, Aubrey is upset, as we said. And obviously, in this moment, Aubrey's trying to make out with Christy Jo.
It just becomes clearer and clearer. Like, she is there for Christy Jo.
Yeah. she's made up for Brett.
Yeah, she's not there for Brett. She's there for Christy Jo.
Oh, and boy, howdy, does that come back. And then the next day, they're riding out to their challenge. And Aubrey straight up asks Daisy, hey, did you guys bone?
Yeah. So all the girls are like super jealous, you know. Yeah, and they're in this limo going to the challenge, and Aubrey confronts Daisy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Daisy is awful cagey.
Yeah, she's basically like, don't worry about it. Yeah. Why are you worried if we did?
Can't confirm or deny.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, it's her prerogative.
It is.
It is. I mean, they all know what's like, listen, Lacey slept with him the whole last season. Like,
and everybody knows that now.
Yeah, whether we know whether this happened or not, like at least in the show storyline, like there is someone that's going to be sleeping with Brett the whole season.
Chances are, if she was in the room all night,
right?
That
And Brett said, like before the night started, I want to get to know Daisy. Like I want to get to really know Daisy.
Yeah.
Like in the creepiest way possible.
Like me saying, I really want to get to know a 23-year-old. It felt like that. Do you hear how it sounds when I even suggest the notion?
And he like
it's gross and creepy.
He
because
like made
I'm
it
old.
clear he wanted to get to know her insides. That's what was being made clear.
Her gyno.
Yes. Okay, so they're on the challenge now.
Shout out Exile Cycles of Laguna. I don't know where they're at.
Somewhere in the LA area.
Granada, Port Granada.
Yeah. At this place, Exile, is that what it's called?
Exile.
They build custom bikes, custom choppers.
And Brett loves him some motorcycles.
He does. This has been a running theme for Brett.
Because he loves the vibration on a date.
Oh my God.
So grody.
We'll get to that.
No, it's and then so they have to put together a functional motorcycle. Like they have the frame of the bike. They don't have to weld. Right?
It's basically like assembling parts.
Yeah.
And they have all these parts laid out with big labels on them. And they're going to divide up into 2 different teams. And whichever team can assemble their bike and put gas in it and start it first wins the challenge.
And who do you think has the biggest advantage in this? What contestant? Peyton.
Yeah.
She's like a mechanic by trade, isn't she?
Oh, I don't know if she's a mechanic.
I thought she was.
I don't know. I think she just acted like she really knew what she was doing, but she didn't look like a professional. Once the challenge gets started,
yes, that's why. Yeah, it kind of okay. So I might have my wires crossed, but I
think Peyton just says she knows a lot about bikes, not like she's a pro mechanic or anything.
And I mean, she did really, really well on the 4-wheel, contest.
Yeah.
That was just a date; it wasn't a contest, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was rooting for Peyton, and I thought Peyton, she seemed awful confident.
She was
she gave
super
the impression,
confident.
Maybe it's just the the amount of smoker voice that she has that gives me the impression she's just huffing exhaust fumes.
Yeah. She's definitely into bikes.
She is. And so what are the teams, babe?
The black team is Megan, Aubrey, Ina, Amber, and Daisy. The pink team is Jessica, Christy Joe, Peyton, Catherine, and Destiny.
Yes. And Destiny is really feeling put out on this one. She says, I don't know anything about tools. And I'm like, girl, you're on a show with Bret Michaels. You know at least about one tool. Got him.
Each team has to pick a head mechanic.
Mm-hmm.
And so whichever team wins, the head mechanic gets a solo date and the other 4 girls get a group date with Bret.
And then the losing team, much like last season, you have a fall guy, right? The lead mechanic is not just the person who gets, the spoils, but they also get the worst punishment. So the loser has to toothbrush scrub one of Bret's hogs.
Yes, in a bikini.
Yes, that's important. Important to note.
So the lead mechanic on black team, or head mechanic, is that what it's called?
Yeah. Lead, I think.
Lead, okay. On black team is Ina, and on pink team it's Peyton. So it's basically Ina versus Peyton. They're like leading their teams, and they're like yelling at everyone, like, get this part. This is what we do next.
I need an 1/8-inch socket.
Yeah.
And it seems like it's going okay. They do. Here's my thing. There are 2 guys, one of which sounds like he is from the Isle of Man or somewhere about the the Emerald Isles.
Yeah.
He runs the store, right? He runs Exile Cycles. And there's another dude, and they do give them little pointers here and there.
They do.
I do feel like the black team got more pointers.
You do?
At least on camera.
Yeah. He was kind of like, oh, yeah, you got that right.
Yeah.
Kind of, like
exactly.
that kind of thing. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I kind of felt like, but at the same time, I can't be trusted either because I was rooting for Peyton the whole damn time.
Yeah.
And so they're putting together this
But
bike.
Peyton gets frenzied. I think
does.
that's why she loses.
Yeah.
Is like she, under pressure, she doesn't just slow down and like do it.
She's not taking a break.
She's like, oh my God. Ooh,
she's so worried about this date with Bret. And she really wants this date with Bret. And I'm like, no, you don't. It's fine. You can.
Well, then I was dying because Daisy looks at one of the guys that runs the shop. And she is like, can you tell me where the air cleaner is? And the guy goes, yeah, it's over there by the sign that says air cleaner.
Incredible. So good.
It was perfect.
He's just not having it at all with some of these girls.
And they put the camera on it and it's like clear as day.
It says
in
air
big
cleaner.
letters.
And it is on top of a sign that says air cleaner. You can read it. You can see the thing that's on top of it. There's no disputing what this could be.
His delivery was perfect. Anyway.
Well, so they're putting this bike together. It's, again, if it doesn't sound funny, there's not a lot of funny shit happening other than air cleaner.
No.
It's tense.
It does look like a fun challenge. Like, I would enjoy doing this.
Totally. As somebody who has read Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance, I would love to know how to do this.
Yes.
Even though I don't ride bikes.
I think I lent that book to you, didn't I?
No, I had it.
Oh, you had it?
I think I might have lent it to you.
No.
Yeah. I read it before we were together.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Anyway, great book. If you haven't,
it is.
But this podcast isn't for people who read books.
No, that's what it's like. This is fun to think about doing, but not fun to watch as a viewer.
It's tense and it's like not as funny as what we're used to with this show and these girls.
The pink team thinks that they won basically, but then they put gas in, they go to start it. They forgot to connect the gas line. That's Peyton's team. So in the frenzy, she forgot this like pretty important part.
Yeah.
And then in the meantime, Black is like right behind them, and Black ends up
getting their bike to start.
Yeah.
And it's not just that, maybe Peyton missed the gas line connection. It's that she either missed it or didn't delegate it properly.
Right.
And that is a lead mechanic's job.
Right. Like double check everything, make sure everyone did their job.
Make sure Destiny's not in charge of anything on this bike.
Yeah.
And thereby secure your victory.
Yes.
Because literally that was the only thing that kept them from winning. Everything else was together
first.
first.
They were about to win.
They were gassed up first, all that shit. So the black team ends up winning. Ina gets the solo date. Congratulations, Ina.
Yes, which means that Aubrey, Megan, Daisy, and Amber are going to get a group date together.
And Peyton's going to have to toothbrush wash one of Brett's
Peyton's
hogs.
crying. I'm like, okay.
She's sobbing.
Yeah, like crying. Destiny also starts crying because she gets like specifically called out by the mechanic as being like extra bad.
As being kind of clueless.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I mean, she is.
Yeah.
And like there's in the footage, she's just kind of wandering around like like kind of just staying out of the way of people and trying to figure out where can I be useful but having no idea.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a little tough.
Yeah.
All right. So Ina gets this date and she gets this sweet Ed Hardy biker jacket of Brett's to wear as they go out on their date.
It's so fug.
It's real bad. It's a real bad bike. It's a real bad Ed Hardy jacket, period.
It's not cute. But
And
yeah, they go like immediately to their date.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And honestly, they don't look terrible together as a couple, riding bikes together. They seem comfy at the date together. Tell me I'm crazy.
You're not crazy. Like everything seems to be pretty smooth, but it doesn't feel to me like they have a real connection. It feels very surface and just like,
Oh, sure.
yeah, this is nice.
But
yeah.
I feel like in
but
terms
not
of like
that passion or like that he has with some of the other girls.
right. And I think that's because Brett is so hung up on her size.
Yeah. She is definitely taller than him.
Yeah.
Like on the bike, she dwarfs him a little bit.
Yeah.
And listen, that's not like, I'm not knocking Ina. She's gorgeous. She's
Right.
supermodel gorgeous.
Right.
They're just differently structured humans.
And she's not a tiny blonde woman
Right.
like Brett is.
Right. Oh my God, that's going to come back and play when I do the Where Are They Now?
Oh, yes.
Hold on to that.
So, yeah, like, in my opinion, this date, Ina seems like somebody that's like Brett's speed, and she's into bike culture.
Yeah.
She does like the whole fucking I'm into 80s rock stars kind of look.
Yeah.
And so it seems like they should connect, and Brett's just like, I have to look up at you. I don't like it.
No,
Makes me feel
he
bad.
kept saying, I'm hot on Ina. He said
did.
that like a few times.
He did.
And then, this is the gross vibrating part. So,
Yeah, there you go.
so they ride on the bike, from the mechanic shop to their date. And he says something like, her body, my body, the bike, the vibration, rawr. And then he like, yeah, thank you. I'm like, I can't do that. He like purrs.
Just felt right. Her body, my body, together, bike, vibration.
Ew.
It's so nasty that he's just thinking about her like just getting off behind him for some reason. Like, yeah, women just, I get it. There is a vibratory element of bikes that can make them appealing for women.
Right.
But to assume that like this woman is on the bike just like, oh yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
And maybe she is. It's just something about the way that he says it. That's
Yeah,
just
terrible.
creepy.
It's so bad. I'm going to go ahead and punch in Ashley saying, "Buh,"
No.
for what Brett is doing.
Can we make this go away?
Nope. It's here to say. If you listened to the end of last week's episode, you caught a little Easter egg of Ashley saying,
God.
"Buh." Anyway, so we're back at the house, and Brett comes in the door, and he sees Destiny and Peyton. They're like on the bike that they just cleaned, and they're looking very cute.
Yeah, they're in their bikinis.
Yeah, but Aubrey is here to make it all suck.
Yeah. So like he's high off of his date with Ina. He walks in. There's these two hot girls on a motorcycle, and in their bikinis. And Aubrey comes downstairs and is like, Brett, we need to talk.
100 fucking Winnie Coopers, this poor man. Like, I don't sympathize with Brett, but I just see her just barreling Brett with her arms crossed with a very Brett, we need to talk kind of stance.
Yeah.
And it's really a punch in the dick. And I
part of it I get that part of it, right? It is a punch in the dick. It's like he's having fun. But the other part is like, any time that a woman on this show wants to express
actual emotions
to him, he thinks it's a drag.
Well, yeah, so that will come up for me later, 100%.
Like the only emotions that really matter are his.
Yes.
And if anyone else in the house has emotions about something, it's just drama.
And
he doesn't want to deal with it.
And that's what I don't understand. And this happens
except for one person. Well,
except for one person.
yeah.
This happens over and over. This episode is women are like, I'm going to take this opportunity to be emotionally vulnerable with Brett and with the other women in the house. And I'm like, stop it. I need you women to absorb a little bit of toxic masculinity for the show and bury that shit.
For your survival on the show.
Choke it down until it metastasizes and you end up getting drunk and beating your kids or something.
No,
I don't know, man.
No.
Like, but don't, not like for your whole life, but for this show, just choke it down and forge ahead.
Okay. If we're limiting the child beating to this show, I guess I'm on board.
I'm just saying, they are following their nature.
Yeah.
You know, they are very sensitive women and they want to communicate their feelings with somebody that they are looking to be in a relationship with.
Right.
We get it.
Right.
It's not a surprise.
But
it's not unusual.
that's not what this show is about.
This show will not reward that behavior.
No. Again, we're not really looking for a real relationship with Brett. We're looking to be a reality TV show winner.
It's silly.
Or to not be one.
So Aubrey and Brett do go and have a talk.
Yes.
And Brett,
he is visibly annoyed by the whole conversation.
And he says, it feels like I've been in a naggy 7-year-long relationship.
She's being needy.
Yeah. But one of the funniest lines, Aubrey is sitting there and she's like, I'm a karaoke host. I know people.
I did think that was like funny too.
And she's like, and she's been a karaoke host for what, 2 years or something?
I know people.
It felt like Better Off Dead when Curtis Armstrong's character is like, I've been going to this high school for 7.5 years. I'm no dummy.
Yeah, a little bit.
Like,
yeah. Like, I'm not saying you don't need to like kind of know how to read a room to be a like you have to be charismatic. Yeah. We both witnessed that.
Sure.
Like karaoke hosts are great.
Yes.
But like that connection, like for that to be the reason that you know people.
Yeah, I feel like a hairstylist might know people more. Yeah. You might know people on site.
I was looking for a good like what would be a job.
Your hairstylist.
Yeah.
Your hairstylist is your part-time therapist.
Right.
Yeah. Always.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So she's. It doesn't go well. Like Brett's hearing her and everything, but it's Brett. He doesn't want you to share your emotions.
Yeah. Well, and what we kind of learn from what happens next is that maybe he's okay with you sharing your emotions if you're one of the girls that he has the hots for.
Ta-da.
Yes. So like for someone like she's picking up on it. She's like, he doesn't care about my feelings. And that's because he doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He is not willing to do emotional labor for you if he doesn't also want to have sex with you.
Right.
He's a real cool guy.
Right.
You are only valuable as a friend if he's like, I might fuck you.
Yeah. Then I need to listen to what you have to say. But then, so after Aubrey has this like, moment with Brett that really doesn't go anywhere and just kind of annoys Brett.
It doesn't stop there.
Christy Joe decides like she's starting to have a breakdown about the fact that like she hasn't really resolved anything from her last 2 marriages. She's saying, I got married to this one guy, as soon as we split up, I was in a relationship with my second husband and that was very short-lived and we split up and now I'm here. And she's basically having like an emotional breakdown and saying like, I don't think I should be here.
And asking the other girls who don't like her already.
She literally calls a meeting.
Yeah, she
of
has
all
a house
of the
meeting.
girls,
and everybody's like, "What the fuck is
this?"
And she's like, "Yeah, I'm thinking about hanging myself." And all the girls are like, "Dude, we got all this fucking rope. Yeah, we got you. Like, I don't think that's a terrible idea." She doesn't actually say that, but she's saying like, yeah, maybe it isn't right for me here. Yeah,
and
you
all
should
the girls
definitely go tell Brett that right now.
Pack your bags, go. No one's stopping you. Get the fuck out.
Like nobody's like they're all like, hey girl, we see you're crying. We're not going to shit on you right now, but if you're offering to walk out of this show, yes, do it.
Yeah, Destiny is getting like visibly annoyed. All the girls are like, Amber's annoyed. Amber doesn't say much about anything, and she's like, "What the hell is happening?"
She rarely wears anything other than absolute delight as an expression.
Yeah,
and she's annoyed.
How I'm coming back to why girls don't like Christy Joe.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Go expand on that.
Oh man, I still don't totally know if I can. I think it goes back to the messy thing, which like. She's a little emotionally manipulative.
Huh.
she's constantly dramatic and this is happening and that, but like it's just like one big drama show that's all about her. She's the star of her own show.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got it.
She's sitting with Brett right now crying and saying, I think I have work to do on myself. I need to go. And then as soon as he's like, but what if you don't? She's like, okay. It's like she's addicted to toxic cycles with men.
When Catherine, she has like a very quick talking head about Christy Joe and not vibing with her. I'm kind of like, Catherine seems kind of go along to get along other than, and
totally.
Christy Joe did put words in her teammates' mouths, so Catherine's mad at her.
Right.
But the fact that Catherine is so
that even keel
and is also very much like, yeah, Christy Joe, fucking
I don't
get
like
it together.
this girl.
Yeah. So it's it's a bad thing. And then after this conversation with the girls, they do convince Christy Joe to go talk to Brett.
Mm-hmm.
And she's breaking down with Brett, as Ashley said. It's a very rodeo situation.
Except that he's not saying, well, okay, I'm actually going to correct what I was about to say. He does say, maybe I'm not the guy. If you feel this way, go. And that's what I mean by like her toxicity is she's like, okay, now I want to stay.
Right.
As soon as you're the one that tells me to go, it's like this push and pull.
Yeah.
You know?
There's a line that Brett says that I didn't care for, which is he does a talking head during this conversation. Mm-hmm. They intersperse it, and he says, I'll deal with your emotional baggage. And I'm like, no, you won't.
Yeah, no, you won't.
He doesn't want to deal with your emotional connection if it still exists, right? If you're still in love with your ex-husbands or whatever. Mm-hmm. But he says, I will deal with your emotional baggage. And I'm like, absolutely not. That is false information. And I just need to point that out.
Do you start to wonder, like, why out of all the girls, she is the biggest red flag of them all. She is literally still married. She's telling him, I want to go. I think I should go. But he really wants her to stay. Yeah. And it's just kind of like interesting to me that like any other girl in the house that has pulled this, right? I think I might want to go. He's like, okay, bye. Fine. And then he'll eliminate them. He'll let them go.
And the metric that Brett uses to determine if he's willing to deal with your emotional baggage.
Boobs. Yes.
Boobs.
Yeah. And I will give a little tidbit from like, when I was researching the behind the scenes, the behind the scenes person said the person that got eliminated this episode, which we'll share later, she says that backstage off camera, Brett really had a crush on Christy Joe. He really liked her, and everyone could tell, And
so this is one of my first notes for this episode. This is Mario Kart rules, guys. Mm-hmm. Girls on this show, Mario Kart rules. What do I mean by that? Don't get out ahead too early. Stay in the middle of the pack and then move to the front. Yeah. Why? Because if you're out in front too early, you're going to get fucking blue shelled.
Yeah, you're a target.
You're just going to get blue shelled. You'll be in 12th place next time you blink, okay? Yep. Stay in the middle of the pack, 4th, 5th place. Last lap, make your move.
Don't present as a threat. Except Daisy just goes ahead and presents as a threat the whole time.
But the girls are coming at her.
Yeah.
They got claws out. They know that she's sleeping with Brett, or at least staying the night in his room.
She seems to like handle it well, though. She doesn't like let them give her shit about it. She's just like, whatever, fine. You're jealous. Yeah. And she's right. Yeah.
But Christy Joe came out in front too quick.
She
did. Immediately, girls didn't need too much of a reason to, find a reason to hate her.
Right.
Okay, now we've got a date that's not a date. Mm-hmm. Because the rest of the girls from the bike competition, they got a date, right? No, they didn't.
No.
What did they get?
It's a photo shoot. It's actually kind of cute. They do like cute pinup girl photos, so like they're not like naked.
For once.
It's like cute little 50s pinup girl costumes. But yeah, like, is this a date? They don't really get to like talk to Brett. It's just
he's just taking photos with another photographer of them. And obviously, who's most excited about this? Mrs. Peanut Butter.
Mrs. Peanut Butter is yipping around in her sailor outfit.
She's got so much expression in every goddamn photo. Like, her faces are perfect for like this 50s. And she's wearing like a nurse outfit, like a World War II nurse outfit kind of thing.
It's like a sailor.
Skimpy.
No, it's a sailor outfit.
It's a sailor outfit. Thank you. Mm-hmm. And it's very cute. And her faces are perfect. It's very Yoo-Hoo Boys.
Yeah. Yeah. Her eyes get really big. She's like, ooh, ooh.
Yeah. Ashley did a really good impression. It was great.
Do people know who Mr. Peanut Butter is?
Oh, BoJack Horseman.
Yeah.
I can drop a Mr. Peanut Butter clip in here.
Yeah.
Here.
Someone's at the door! Let's go ride in the car!
It's very scary. I'm just glad.
So they're sitting at an actual date now. They get to eat food after.
Right. So I guess there is a little bit of a date component.
And the music's playing, the not like in the show, but like in the background of us watching the show, right? Mm-hmm. And then immediately we get hit with the Debbie Downer like note as Aubrey starts talking.
Yeah. They make it really clear that Aubrey's a drag for feeling the way that she's starting to feel about all of this. And
so Brett starts talking about what we think is going to be Aubrey's feelings about the situation. And instead, he starts going off on Christy Joe and what she shared with him last night.
Yes. She's here for the wrong reasons, he says.
Oh, and he's mad. And he's like, just fucking can't. Karma's coming for somebody. It's like, karma? What do you think? Like, are you going to hit them? Like, what do you mean?
What do you mean?
He's just really hostile about women who do not want him.
Yeah.
And he cannot handle rejection. He is such a small, sensitive boy.
You're right.
That's exactly every single time a woman decides that she wants to go home before he sends them home.
Yeah.
He gets so petulant.
Except, I don't know. We'll get there.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
But
yeah, he is visibly like, he does not like to be the one rejected.
No. And so he was like, even though he seemed even keel about the Christy Joe conversation the night before, during this conversation about Christy Joe, but not with her there, he is not okay with how it went.
No.
He's very upset.
And so Aubrey runs back to her girlfriend, Christy Joe, and spills that Brett is talking shit about her. Christy Joe gets so pissed.
She's so pissed.
And starts storming around the house.
But she doesn't express pissed to him at any point. Like, it seems like she might go and like have it out with him, but that's not what she does.
No, she doesn't like go in and yell at him. She just like goes to talk to him.
Again, this like episode is very drama heavy.
It is just drama. Yeah. As we're like recording this podcast, I'm like, is this even fun for the listeners to listen to?
You know, it can't all be birthday cake.
I know. I hope you guys are doing okay.
Listen, if the listener is watching this show, they're here for the comedy and the dramedy.
That's right.
That's
right. There is real drama happening. Can we talk about how she gets a what's going on when she walks in?
Oh,
yes, there are two in this episode.
Fuck, I missed that.
Yes.
How did I miss it?
I don't know.
All right, what's going on?
Yes.
All right, got a time.
She walks in the room and he goes, "What's going on?"
What's going on?
Oh my God. Thank you, babe.
Yes, he's like playing the guitar.
Oh, that's like at the 30-minute mark. I'm writing that down. So she seems like she's going to come in here guns blazing.
And she goes from angry to sad.
I'm crying again.
Yeah.
I'm just so hurt.
Yeah.
I heard what you were saying. And
you can tell he's kind of checked out. You
Yeah.
know? He's like, I don't know. He thinks she's self-destructing.
And I love that he was playing guitar when she walks in, as though Brett is always, if he's not with the girls, he is just in his room strumming guitar.
Right.
And I'm like, no, you're not.
No, production is like, hey, Christy Joe coming down in 5,
All right,
4,
number 1, play
3.
guitar. Number 1, strumming guitar. Go.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so put on. Like, there's no way in hell that he's strumming a guitar for that long.
Yeah. But this is the scene where he, like what I was mentioning earlier, where he's like, maybe I'm not the guy. If you want to go, go.
Right.
And she's like, well, I think I want to stay now.
Actually, I'll stay, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little unfair. Well, with that, all this drama, we're finally at elimination. And, man, you might think you guys know what goes here, but you don't know. It's not what you think. It's not a... we'll get to it. So, who gets the... You would think that Ina won the competition. She was the lead mechanic, and she would get the first pass. But you forgot. You forgot that he fucked Daisy last night.
He's got that fresh on the brain.
Yeah.
So Daisy gets the first pass. Are we not going to do short skirt?
No.
Okay.
I mean, unless you really wanted to.
No.
because I think we got another segment that we got to unveil.
I know.
I'm so glad that at the beginning of the season we went over new segment ideas.
Yes.
Because these long jackets have been made.
Yeah. It's kind of boring this episode. He has like a blazer and a button up and a t-shirt, and it's whatever. He's not wearing tiger coats anymore. Okay.
Yes, thank
what happened
you.
to the tiger print coats and the whole reason that we made
And fire truck
the short
red
skirt long jacket
leather coat jackets
segment?
Yes. Moo cow trench coats with dusters. We miss you. Bring it back.
Oh my God. So Amber gets the second pass.
I had a blast.
Yip.
She said, I had a blast.
And then she licks her paws.
Yeah. And the camera grazes by Jessica. And I'm like, oh, yeah, Jessica was in this episode.
Yeah.
I guess.
What about Catherine?
What about Catherine said something? I don't know anything that Jessica said.
But
to
like,
anybody.
have you seen Catherine and Brett talk to each other?
No.
Have you seen Jessica and Brett talk to each other?
No.
Right? Maybe it's happening off camera. Maybe it's whatever, but like they just easily get passes.
Yeah.
And you're constantly like,
Huh?
okay.
What? Again, Mario Kart rules.
Mm-hmm.
Blend in.
Yes.
Stay in the background, but not too far in the background.
They are doing that. They're
Yes.
doing that.
Um,
Peyton gets a pass, and then Ina finally gets her. That's what I mean. I don't think he's like that hot on Ina, even though he keeps saying I'm hot on Ina.
Peyton lost the challenge, and she got the pass before
I
Ina.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah. And
I
then
don't get it, but whatever.
Catherine gets one. Jessica gets one.
Why?
I don't know. Yeah. Destiny gets one. Megan, he like kind of reluctantly gives one to.
And he talks. This is interesting. He talks about how she's one of the most beautiful women
Your
he's ever
body's
seen.
great.
Body's great, and I'm just like, that is such a subtle way to like neg the rest of them.
Right.
Like you're not like you're in front of all these women. And you're like, let me particularly talk about how hot this chick is.
Right.
And I'm like, that's so fucking weird.
Yeah.
And uncomfortable.
Yeah. I'm sure every girl in there was like a little self-conscious.
Yeah, and I
she's
felt
the one with the hot
self-conscious.
body. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, she's the hottest body. Oh,
Yeah.
whatever the fuck. Anyway.
But he basically says like, you're pretty, you have a hot body, but like I'm kind of not feeling it.
Yeah.
Like we're not. And it's true. You don't really see them interacting with each other either. You just see Megan kind of like doing her like ditzy bitch
And then
routine.
And then I got a question, Ashley. What's going on?
What's a going on? What's a going on?
What's a going on?
What's a going on?
What's a going on?
Welcome to What's Going On. It's the segment on Mock of Love where we wonder, hey, what's going on? So Ashley, what's going on?
There were two what's going ons.
He actually says what's going on here in a second.
He does.
Which is fantastic. But also what's going on? It's so the drama. I don't know what drama's left for the rest of the fucking series.
This merits a what's going on because
That's what I'm saying.
there wasn't any comedy in this episode until the elimination, and it's fucking
and it's
hilarious.
still drama. It's still like high drama.
It is until it isn't.
Yes. So we are down to Aubrey. It is until it isn't is correct. We are down to Aubrey and Chrissy Joe. Ashley's losing her mind. So let me kind of walk you through what's going on. Aubrey and Chrissy Joe are the last ones up there. Chrissy Joe is shaking, sobbing. She's like, I'm going to get out. And
messy.
so
I
messy.
want to stay. I want to go. I don't know.
And then allow me to make a literary allegory, Ashley.
Okay.
Sydney Carton comes down and inhabits the body of Aubrey.
Oh my God.
Christy Joe is her Charles Darnay, and she's sobbing. And fucking Aubrey says, it is a far, far better thing that I do than I have ever done. It is a far, far better rest that I go to than I have ever known.
Oh my God.
It is a far better thing. It is a far better thing that she does.
Yeah. Sacrificial lamb over here.
And so Aubrey says, no, Brett, I will leave.
Yeah.
I will take the fall.
Like Brett's starting to say like who he's going to, and he's like trying to explain, like he doesn't say the name yet, but he's like, this girl, blah, blah, blah. And in Aubrey's mind, Christy Joe's about to go home.
Yeah.
So she's going to fall on the sword.
She's going to be dragged to the guillotine.
Yeah.
And so
she's sobbing while she does it. Christy Joe, this is for you.
don't you leave.
I have
Don't
to
you
do
leave
this
on
for
your own.
you. Don't you leave.
And she's pointing and like yelling at Christy Joe, like, I did this for you.
I want to give you a chance.
I want you to have a chance. You don't leave. Don't leave on your own. You stick around. You stay through it.
I'm going to sacrifice myself for you. I'm the best friend ever.
And who was the last pass for, Ashley?
The last pass was for Christy Joe.
Aubrey fell on the sword that was coming for her.
Yeah, and nobody knows it until Aubrey has already walked out of the house. She's done this whole dramatic scene.
Yeah.
And she like exits the house crying and talking about how much she loves Christy Joe. And then Brett turns around the pass in his hand and Christy Joe was going to get it anyway.
Yeah. And Christy Joe was going to be like so butthurt if she wasn't on the pass.
Yeah.
And her friend like, but it just makes it that much more absurd and ridiculous. Like Aubrey has been so dead serious and arms crossed this episode, and for her to do this overly dramatic sacrifice for
nothing
is like, it's not haha funny, but it's funny.
It's funny. It's deeply funny.
It's really like powerful, sticks with you. You can't write situational comedy like this. I mean, you could. It's good.
And maybe they did. Who knows?
Maybe they did.
I don't know.
Man, I need to get a hold of the folks at Mindless Entertainment.
I know.
This is my gift, the biggest gift that I have given to somebody in a long time that I think is amazing.
Yeah.
That's what Aubrey is saying.
She's quivering outside doing her exit interview.
And Destiny and Christy Joe are sobbing, saying goodbye as the guillotine comes down on her neck. Only to find moments later.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
It's so funny.
And then Christy Joe gets called down and she really goes for it on the makeout. Like
they have this passionate makeout, which, starts to, how like throughout both seasons, there have been girls where we're like, why is she sticking around? It's like there are certain girls that Brett just likes.
Yep.
And you can tell like Daisy's one of them. Yep. Right? Christy Joe is one of them.
Lacey was one of them.
Yes.
Yep.
He just likes certain girls.
Yeah. And yeah, man, it's so fucking ridiculous. And that's our episode, guys. Oh, where's Aubrey now, Ashley?
Oh yeah. Okay, where is Aubrey now? Aubrey Fisher.
So that was the podcast that was what you wanted to talk about at the beginning of the episode was the
Yeah, so and one of the reasons I was like running late coming down here so we could start recording this episode is like Aubrey ended up doing like a really long podcast interview. I don't know, I didn't say what year it was, maybe like a couple of years ago or something. And there was like a lot of tea that she was spilling, but I didn't get to listen to all of it. So I'll give you guys some in the Where Is She Now? But to back up, Aubrey is an actress, or she was for a while. Okay. So she was on LA Inc. after this show. Oh. From 2009 to 2011.
She's a tattoo artist?
I don't know.
Oh.
I just know she was on the show. She was on it for 22 episodes.
Jesus.
Yeah. So I'm like, all right. She was like really on that show. I never really watched it, so I don't know.
I only know Kat Von D from that show.
Yeah, same.
I ran into her at Magic Mountain one time.
Oh, that's cool.
And then her purse got stolen when she was riding Viper.
Oh no.
That was my Kat Von D experience.
Really fucked up for someone to do that.
I also heard that she's kind of a neo-Nazi, but
oh, gross.
I'll leave that for Wikipedia.
Ew, okay.
Anyway.
So then if you go to Aubrey's Instagram, it's at Aubrey_Fisher. She is a DJ AFI. She just this past month in December of 2024, she DJ'd at the Dave & Buster's in Hollywood.
What?
Shout out. She also is resident DJ at the Sagebrush Cantina in Calabasas.
Oh, not bad.
Yeah.
I mean, Calabasas is getting a gig.
I know. She's a Twitch streamer, which I didn't have a chance to watch any of her Twitch, videos.
Is she DJing on Twitch or is she?
I don't know.
Is she gaming?
I literally was like so rushed to get this Where Is She Now together. But she is a Twitch streamer if you guys want to go check out her profile. She's also a photographer. She has a daughter. She's also a widow.
Oh, what?
Yeah, she so this is going to tie into one of the behind the scenes stories I'm about to tell about her, but she was in a relationship with this man on and off for 15 years. And I think they were really together. It wasn't like they were mostly apart. They were mostly together during all those years. But just kind of like she even says like a toxic relationship. It was like very on and off, or the host says that or something. But anyway, so about 4 months before he passed, they finally got married.
Okay.
And so I think they have a daughter together.
4 months before he passed. Jeez.
Yeah. Yeah. So she has a daughter. I'm assuming that's the daughter of this guy, but I don't know for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But then I start watching this podcast episode that she's on. It's this podcast called A Bunch of Losers with Derek Fox, who was another reality contestant, I guess.
I don't know.
But yeah, I didn't know him either. But so when all of this was happening, right, back in 2007, she was with what would become her husband later.
Okay.
We'll just call him her husband, even though they didn't.
Just to keep it easy.
Yeah. So she was with her husband. They watched season 1 of Rock of Love together, and it was their favorite show.
Mm-hmm.
They like loved it. But then after season 1, they were off. They broke up. They were on one of their off periods. So she went. So he moved out of their house. He moved into another house with some roommates, one of which was a girl. He ended up messing around with that girl, and it really pissed Aubrey off, his girl roommate.
Okay.
And so she went on Rock of Love as revenge for
Amazing.
She was like, I'm going to go on our show that we like to watch together. And she didn't find out until after he passed from a friend, like what his reaction to that was. And apparently it really bothered him, obviously. And so then they get into, like how she feels about Bret Michaels. And she's like, well, I had to make out with Bret Michaels. And
Interesting.
And they start going.
Wait, had to. Okay. The face you wore, I'm not sure if I'm getting the right context of had to.
I know. She did not like him.
She did not like him.
She did not like him.
Because I thought it was like I had to make out with Bret Michaels.
No, it was more like I had to make out with Bret Michaels.
Huh.
She said it was like making out with a chick.
Wow.
Which comes back to what you were saying earlier about him being a small woman. She was like, he wears so much makeup, like caked makeup, like more makeup than the girls.
Oh my God.
Yeah. She went off on Bret Michaels.
His eyeliner was very thick this episode.
Yeah. Lots of eyeliner, lots of makeup. The host says, was he a good kisser? She said, I don't remember, so I guess not. And then the host goes, so he's a cool guy, right? And she's like, no.
Just no.
Period.
No, yes, and.
Yeah.
No, but.
Yeah.
No.
And then the host goes, is there anything redeeming about Bret Michaels? And she goes, and it like real long pregnant pause.
Wow.
And then she says, kissing him made my husband jealous. That was the redeeming quality about Bret Michaels.
You know what's nice? You know what's nice about that is like all the shit talk we do.
I know.
Being like validated.
It makes me feel a little more okay about it, because I felt bad at times. Like, what if he really is this like super nice guy?
And then you hear things like this and you're like, nope.
Okay.
We calling it.
Yeah.
We calls it like
we sees it.
Oh God, terrible. Well, is that what we?
Yeah, that was it. Sorry, I went through it really fast because I knew
that
it
was
was
fantastic.
a lot.
Thank you. That was a good deep dive into Aubrey.
Yeah.
And with that, if the congregation will please join us in bowing your heads and closing your eyes. Dearly beloved, we are gathered here in the house of VH1 God.
The set house.
The heavenly house of VH1 God. The set house.
Yes.
The set house of VH1 God, where God doesn't actually sleep. They stay at the Sheraton. And anyway,
there's a good country song in there. God sleeps at a Sheraton.
Anyway, Aubrey. Aubrey, we commit to the pyre, Aubrey, who such a bold sacrifice, sacrificing so much for her friend, and yet absolutely nothing at all. Such sacrifice has never been known, because it's truly baffling. It was the best of shows. It was the worst of shows. It was an incredibly dramatic tale of two titties that nobody needed to listen to or watch, and we're so glad that we got to the end of this absolute drama drama-filled nightmare. And we're sorry to you, Aubrey, I guess. In VH1's holy name, amen.
A Tale of Two Titties.
Is that going to be the title of this episode?
Yes. It's so good.
I mean, I'm going hard on this literary analogy this
love
episode,
it.
but it's too apt.
Yeah. It's perfection.
It's anyway. Anything else to share about this episode, Boo? Or
No, I don't think so.
okay. Well, please, listener, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Mock of Love, and leave us comments. Send us your memes and whatever else you want. Mock of Love is available on Apple Podcasts, ranking well in the Philippines and the U.S. We love that. So yeah, pick us up wherever you like to pick us up. Love it. Also, please make sure you're following us on social media. Instagram, we're mol.podcast. Blue Sky at MOL Podcast, all one word. Find us on TikTok at Mock of Love Podcast, all spelled out. And on YouTube, #boobs. We are not on X. We never will be. X will die. We will forget about it. Elon will also be committed to the Earth or Mars, and we won't miss him. So yeah, I think that's it.
Cool.
We had a good episode, huh?
Yeah.
I think we were really, what were we handed? We were handed a turd sandwich. We were handed a drama-filled episode.
Yeah.
And what did we have to work with? But look what we made. We made a turd castle. Anyway, I'm Andy.
I'm Ashley.
And this has been Mock of Love. Till next time.
Will you continue to stay in this house and rock our world?
Have a great week, everybody.
Mock of Love is produced by Andy and Ashley. All views and comments do not necessarily reflect the views of Andy and Ashley, so ease up on us. If you enjoyed this romp through reality shows past, please follow, like, subscribe, and leave us a comment wherever you listen to podcasts.